folks, so I haven't done a video in a while, but as you can see it's slightly different. I have actually moved home and I've been spending the last 2 weeks moving home and trying to get settled in. So I thought I'd do a little video since the firmware has come out for the XT5 and XS20. I upgraded the XT5 and I wanted to try out the bird eye autofocus and to see how well the focus wraps, which is the problem I've been having. So when you suddenly go from something quite close to something quite distant. So the lens I've been using is the 100 to 400, which is the lens I tend to use predominantly for bird photography. Now I've done a couple of stills with it, but I think that was with my 18 to 300. So we're just going to look at video autofocus today, not stills autofocus. It's been quite dull of late, so I haven't had a lot of opportunity to do both types of photography. So for reference, we're filming this on the XM5. And as I say, we've got the XT5. We're using a single point video autofocus with animal, bird, detect, eye detect. So if I could put the reticle over the bird for the single point to get, say, in between some twigs or leaves, and the eye, that's why I use single point, so I can really sort of filter it in. I find zone is a bit too clumsy. Wide tracking works quite well, and the wide tracking was used for the rack focus test where I went close focus, distance focus. So let's bring up some samples of the focus on some birds in my garden, and I have to say it's certainly as accurate as it was before, but it's much more sensitive to changes in the bird moving. I'm seeing a definite improvement. There's no pulsing in the background, and once it's locked onto the bird, it's locking onto the bird even when there's foliage around, and it's recognizing it. Now I'll bring the autofocus settings up on the screen so you can see what settings I've got, and I'm using exactly the same autofocus settings as I always have with my XT5, and indeed I'm going to link some videos in the description, poignantly one that has me doing the rack focus tests and tests with the bird eye autofocus on the prior firmware. I think it's version 3. I think we're on version 3.01 or something. I'll put it on the screen if I've got it wrong. But it's the latest autofocus. It's just come out at the end of December there. So as you can see from some of the samples I've got some birds sitting on twigs in open branches. I've got birds sort of behind branches. And it's really not had a problem. I think the only time it really had an issue was when it was a very gusty, windy day, and the wind blew and bounced the bird up and down poor thing. And the autofocus did lose track there, but I didn't have it on tracking. I just had it on eye. But I would kind of expect most cameras to get confused by something like that. So for what I've been doing, and again, it's early days, very, very early days yet of the autofocus, because I've got a lot of testing to do. But it's certainly promising. It's certainly an improvement, but I haven't done any photography, and that's what I'll have to test next. Now, looking at what I was talking about, the focusing from close to near, so racking all the way to something in the distance, if I bring up a sample here, you'll find for the most part it can be sometimes a little bit hesitant, but it does go. And this is a big, big positive step, because the problem I was having before is if I suddenly go, oh, there's a bird over there, I want to focus on it, and I'd move the camera, it would stubbornly refuse, no matter what settings you had, it just wouldn't move focus. Now, with this lens, you can move it from one area to the next, one in the distance, one close up, one in the mid, and you can see from the panning that I've been doing, to panning from things to near, to medium, to far, it hasn't really got a problem. Like I said, there's sometimes a bit of hesitation. So all in all, I just wanted to give you a very quick update as to what the autofocus was and my first impressions of it. Now I've had a chance to unpack a few things and unpack my cameras and my tripod, and it's moving in the right direction. There's a lot more to test, but certainly based on my use of the XM5, which seems to be a lot better, So I look at the XM5, I can see the eye boxes on my eyes, something you wouldn't often see on older firmware with the XS20 or the XT5. So I'm quite happy that that's working. And I'm not sitting still. I move around a little bit, but I'm not going to do the tests where you try to trick the autofocus. I like to do real world tests, which is, does it work for what I do it? Not, does it work if I madly move around and run about? I know these tests push the autofocus to its limit, but they're not realistic. A realistic test is pointing the camera at a bird. Does it focus on the bird when you're doing video? Yes, it does. The autofocus works. So if you watch my other video, it's quite a long one, but it's worth watching all the way through. I think I chaptered it, maybe I did. I'll link it below. And then you can see a direct comparison to what we've got today with the new autofocus versus what we had with the prior autofocus from, I think it was released in June, July time. So we've sort of been stuck with that autofocus for quite some time. Proof of the pudding for me will be, can I photograph birds in flight, which I just simply haven't really had a chance to try yet. So there you go, folks. It's Christmas Eve, I'm recording this, so have a lovely Christmas and a New Year. I probably will try and put out a video over the holidays because I'll have some time. Gonna be an interesting video. Let's just say it's something that can charge your camera and it can keep you warm. So look out for that. That's going to be a very exciting sort of outdoory photographer video. And I hope that it's something you're interested in. So keep an eye out for that one. Thank you everyone who's subscribed and liked and commented this year. It's been an incredible year of growth for the channel. And we've obviously gone over 1,000 subscribers. So I will see you all probably just before the New Year. But if I don't, Happy New Year and have a lovely Christmas and a peaceful Christmas. See you all later, folks. Bye.